Alright guys, so here's your CBA review. The test is going to be 10 questions. I put 8 on here. There's one question about the sets and subsets that we didn't go over. But here we go. So this one says the triangle below is translated 7 units down and then 5 units to the right. Now, remember, anytime it's going up or down, that's a Y movement. And anytime it's moving left or right, that is an X movement. So 7 units down is Y minus 7. 5 units to the right is X plus 5. So the answer to this first one should have been D. X plus 5, Y minus 7. Number 2. Okay. You guys can actually use the calculator to assist you on this, so there's no reason to miss this. It says the square root of 17. So if you go to your calculator and you do the square root of 17, you get 4.12. This is 4.25 right here, so the only logical answer is Q. This picture does not matter because this problem says the graph is labeled image of Y triangle YZW, and it is a reflection over the x-axis. My apologies, I forgot to put in there what is the rule. But what is the rule? Now remember, it's reflecting over which axis? The x. So what's going to stay the same? The x. So what's going to change? The y. That should have been B. This question. So it says a square has an area of 54 inches. Which choice below is the best estimate of the side length? So it's 54 inches. I know that a square has 4 sides to it, 4 equal sides. So give me 1 second. Mr. George can draw a square on class kit. A square has 4 equal sides, right? So this problem is saying the first one is saying more than 5 but less than 6. So it's basically saying that this is 5 by 5. And the next one is 6 by 6. So a square has an area, right, which is length times width of 54 square inches. Which choice below is the best estimate of the side lengths of the square? And then A said more than 5 but less than 6. Okay, this square has an area of 25. This square has an area of 36. So when it's saying a square has an area of 54, it wants to know which one is the best estimate for the side lengths. So more than 5 but less than 6? No, it can be more than 5 less than 6, because 5, a square with the side lengths of 5 would have an area of 25, and a square with the side lengths of 6 would have an area of 36. So it can't be more than 5 less than 6. Okay. B says more than 6 less than 7. Well, that's 6 by 6 and then 7 by 7. This will be 49 and this will be 36. No, because this square has an area of 54. Okay, so let's go to the next one. I mean, erase my square because I don't want to redraw it. More than 7 but less than 8. Okay, so we got 7 by 7, which is an area of 49. And then we have an 8 by 8, which is 64. Okay, so now the area of this square is 54. So this is 49 and this is 64. Does 54 fall in between the two? Yes, it does. So the answer for that one would have been C. So what you guys want to do on this problem, you're basically going to square this one and this one. Okay, you're going to square it. Not square root, square it, which means multiply by itself. If this number falls in between the square of these two numbers, then that's your answer. If it doesn't, then move on to the next choice. That's how you handle that problem. Okay? All right, let's go to the next problem on the CBA. All right. Number 5, this is an easy one. We need to order from least to greatest. These are actually already in decimal form with the exception of pi, and pi is 3.14. So the smallest here is 2.09, followed by 2.3. Please remember that this is the same as 2.30, followed by 3, and then the last one would have been pi, which is 3.14. That answer is D. Now, this one we could talk about just a little bit. The triangle is reflected across the y-axis to form triangle XYZ prime. Identify which of the following statements are true. Okay, about knowing principles of reflections. Okay, so it says that the triangle is reflected across the y-axis. Okay, so A says all angles of XYZ and XYZ prime are equal. Okay, so if it's a reflection, does it change the shape or the size of the shape, or does it morph the shape in any way? Let's do it this way. Let's look at this for a second, all right? Because we're talking about a reflection. In this instance, the axis really don't matter because we just want to talk about some of the principles. Now, looking at this and looking at our answer choice, it says that the angles are equal. All right, so if we go back and we look at this, angle A and A prime are still the same angle. It didn't change. That angle didn't get any wider. And what I mean by wider, like if A prime is like that, messed up. If A prime is like that, A was also like that. It's not a situation where it's like, bad example. That's what I mean by changing angle. This angle is more narrow. So if you look at this angle, A and A prime, they're the exact same angle. B and B prime are the same angle. Okay? And then the same for C and C prime. They're all the same angle. So a reflection does not change the angles. Okay? So that statement is true. They're not congruent. That statement, they're not congruent. That's a false statement. They're still congruent. They're still the same size. They're still the same shape. That's what congruent means. Same size, same shape. They just flipped. It's still the same size. It's still the exact same shape. Okay? So a reflection, that does not make it change the congruency of it. All right, so let's check out the next one. The side lengths of triangle XYZ prime is 3 times the size. No, it's not. It didn't get any bigger. It's still the same size. So that's a false statement. It's not going to get bigger. It's not going to get smaller. It's just flipping. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Now, looking at the last one, the orientation of the triangle is the same as XYZ. Okay, now orientation, that refers to the positioning of the shape. Is it the same position? And if you all remember in class, and it's actually on my YouTube video as well, which is the same notes that I did in class, and you can't see it in the bottom because I cut it off here. But it says transformations of the only, reflections of the only transformation. If you see it at the bottom, that do not preserve. And what I told you guys in class is its orientation. Reflections does not preserve its orientation. So if we go here, the orientation of XYZ prime is the same. That is a false as well, okay? So there are those. Now let's go ahead and go to 7 and 8, and you can be on your way. All right, so triangle ABC is transformed to create A prime, B prime, and C prime. What is the rule? Okay, now you got to look at this. Is this a reflection? Is this a rotation? Is this a translation? What's happening here? If you look at this, this is the same position. It's facing the same way. The orientation is the same. We just talked about that word. A and A prime are the same way. C and C prime are the same way. So that's not a flip. Okay, make sure you all look at this and you look at where the points are, the vertices are, the different points, and you identify that C and C prime are in the same spot. Okay, therefore this is not a reflection. If it was a reflection, C prime would be on this side where A prime is if it was a reflection. This is a translation. It's slid. Okay, make sure you guys are careful about that when you look at these problems. And it is a slide to the right. So this one would have been CX plus 5 comma Y. All right, let's do the last one. This is a greatest to least problem. This was a straightforward problem. This answer would have been D. Nothing complex or complicated on that. All right, so let's go. Make sure you guys go over this. CBA will be on tomorrow, and make sure you guys are prepared, and I'll see you guys when we get back in class. All right, peace.